Hello, I'm Bret, and welcome to Show Me the Mods Week. This week, we're looking at your delightfully cursed creations, so make sure to like this video and check back tomorrow for the next episode. And now, in no particular order, show me the mods. MrAngryAsher. This is a Magnus with an afterburner made from a Buzzbee Automatic Tommy 20 and a battery tray from a Dart Zone Spectrum. Stupidly accurate for some reason and works way too well. Oh my god, it's horrible. And I mean that as a compliment. Thank you for identifying the rev switch very clearly in this photo as well. I would have had no idea. And I guess I'm kind of being honest about that. I probably would not have noticed that that is an actual rev switch because it doesn't really look like one, but now it makes a little bit more sense. The spaghetti flying out of this blaster with E-tape, hot glue, cardboard, with screws almost hiding the AA battery tray, more tape, and of course the exposed flywheel cage on the very front. IGN gives this an 8 out of 10, a little something for everyone. I don't doubt this works well either, since I have seen mega afterburners really boost performance. That said, one good fall and I'm sure this thing is just done. I mean, looking at it too harshly, I feel like it's about to fall apart. I'm glad also, I just noticed is that a popsicle stick under, near the front? Oh man, the more I look at this, it's beautiful. MildlyDurpy. This is my bolt-action Nexus Pro. It's had many things done to it in the past, but has been replaced by better blasters. I didn't have any good bolt-action blasters, so I made this. The core of the bolt is made from a screwdriver that is drilled and epoxied into the priming rod. The orange cover is 3D printed, but the dimensions are way off. It hits 120 to 140 with a 17/32 brass barrel, and a worn out stock spring spacer works alright. But if it isn't primed perfectly straight, it won't catch. You like Nexus Pro? We can make it worse. That's all I'm getting from this, oh my gosh. Driven to do this simply because you wanted a bolt action. That's modding, baby. I want this. You don't have this. Okay, I'll do it myself. No stock. It sounded like you have spacers, replacements. Did the stock like disappear and you never found a new one? Also, is the front grip, now that you don't need that one because it's bolt action, is that just lost? Oh, I just noticed it was kind of dark. You replaced it with a permanent fixture. I assume that's a little easier than to brace the non-existent stock into your shoulder. Got it. So it's finicky just to get slightly less performance than out of the box. Okay. And yes, I agree, the screwdriver was the correct priming bolt to use here. When they tell you to just buy a Nexus Pro, they ain't referring to this. SDRebeltrooper. This is a Bullpup Retaliator. I jerry-rigged a wire that connects to the trigger. The stock housing is just a hot-glued mess of Nerf parts. The trigger housing is an Alpha Trooper trigger that is hot-glued and zip-tied to the foregrip. Those also include a worker 10kg spring upgrade kit. This is a great example of technically it's janky, but also really cool. I love these kinds of mods that reuse specific shell pieces without the deep dive into a clean shell. No integration work after that. There's an aesthetic to it. It's not just laziness. I swear. And connecting the triggers to make something new is also just a simple, smart solution. We must bullpup. I do admit though, part of me is having a hard time seeing this mod. I think it's camouflaged into the background, or maybe the background is camouflaged into the blaster. Where does it start? Where does it end? From David, uses a ramrod to prime, made of a chopped up Rampage. Works, not well. This thing is throwing me for a loop. I keep wanting to assume it's just a stock on a bipod and I'm being trolled hard, which to be fair, I probably am for the most part on all of these. But if you rotate your head around, then you can see the trigger a little bit more easily. And it's a Rampage, so the missing magwell is on the other side, which would give it away a little bit more. Such minimization, wow, such choices were made here. I guess you fixed the jam page claims by making it ramrod only, though you've also created a new challenge, so that's on you. When you say it doesn't work well, do you mean with regular darts Or do you mean with like the large Mega XL dart being squeezed onto the front? I don't actually know how well of a fit that is on like a standard barrel from a Rampage. And if it is ramrod only, is the ramrod in the room with us? Is it on the other side of the blaster as well, where we can't see things? The bipod needs no explanation. I totally get that. And like many blasters in this series, there are plenty of spots on this one that you just don't want to hold onto with your hand because of the sharp edges. So that's fun. Half Hitch builds. Although this looks like a normal Elite Alpha Trooper, this actually started out as a gray trigger eat. I put a 5 kilogram spring inside and replaced the gray jam door, trigger, and magazine release buttons with the orange versions from an old N-Strike Alpha Trooper. The blaster fires if I pump the priming grip forward too quickly, even if I'm not holding the trigger, and the red dot sight is corroded. Wait a minute. That's just a stock Elite Alpha Trooper. I just can't prove it. Glad you have a somewhat better EAT now, aside from that somewhat sensitive catch. It's just a feature. Slamfire only. Some people say Slamfire is the only feature that ever matters and it's the best feature ever, so have at it. And sorry your red dot is corroded, but you weren't using it anyways. It's just for the aesthetic. It looks just as good side profile here as ever. You don't need to look down that thing. They'll never know. From Mark, I've integrated an XBZ into a Sledgefire and called it, well, Sledgezooka. I like it. It shoots about 200 FPS and functions basically like a musket. Not practical, but quite janky and really fun to use. And it's pretty clean, all things considered. At least from this angle. And most of the janky part to me is that random rail on the bottom. What is that for? You gonna put your hand there? Doesn't seem too comfortable. Okay, and the ramrod on the side, yeah, maybe that's a little janky too. So, does it still open for dart loading like a normal Sledgefire would, or is the ramrod, as you mentioned, used to load every dart like through the front? I'm assuming it's the latter, that's kind of what you alluded to, but it'd be cool if it still did open. I assume if you did that right now, it might break the XPZ. But it is cool to see an XPZ housed in, or mostly housed, inside of a Sledgefire. And hey, the pump, it's just a makeshift stock, delicate stock when you're ready to fire, not when you're pumping it. If you tape it to your shoulder and then you just go out, back, out, back. What more do you need? You have a Sledgefire sniper. Well done. I guess you need a scope to be a real Sledgefire sniper.